Hello, everyone, and welcome to this spotlight session. Can you believe it? It's already day 4 of Wakelet Community Week, and we're already almost halfway through the day as well. So it's been incredible so far, and this session is no exception. We have 5 amazing educators who will be showing us, how they rock their school. This is a School of Rock session using Wakelet to enhance student projects. And I know this will be a hit because a lot of you have been asking about how to use Wakelet with your students, and especially for projects and activities. And again, I've mentioned this before, in Wakelet Live, we showcased a lot of new features and updates that are to do with students and enhancing their classroom experience within Wakelet. So this is the perfect opportunity. Go back to Wakelet Live, check out those features, and these educators here will show you how you can use Wakelet and those new features to enhance the student experience with those projects and activities too. Before we jump into things, I know a lot of you will be asking about certificates. So the certificate link is in the chat. We'll drop that in towards the end of the session. Fill in your details and the certificate will be sent within a few minutes afterwards. And also, don't forget, we do have the Community Week competition still ongoing. So all you need to do, anything that you find interesting, thought-provoking, if it's a quote, a screen grab, even if it's your certificate, share that out on social using the hashtag Wakelet Community Week, and each post will be an entry into the competition. You can win some Community Week swag, including stickers, t-shirts, iPads. We've got some books up for grabs as well. And of course, the big one, a trip to ISTE 2023. So remember, keep on tweeting, keep on posting, hashtag Wakelet Community Week, and you'll be entered into the competition. Okay, let's get right into it. We have 5 amazing educators backstage, and I'm ready to bring them out. If we could bring the wheel up, and we'll get ready to go. Action. There we go. We're going to spin the wheel. Let's see which one of our 5 educators up first, and it is Betsy B. Welcome, Betsy B.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here with you today. Greetings from the land of eternal spring, Guatemala. And I would love for everyone to drop in their emoji, their rocker emoji here in the chat and let us know how they're feeling about this session. I am so happy to share with you what I have benefited from using Wakelet in my classroom. First of all, I'm a high school innovation teacher. So I bring to the hands of my students all sorts of technology that is trending out there. The one that I'm going to be sharing with you today is specifically my projects from my 3D design class. And I'm also an instructional coach. So I go hand in hand with the teachers, giving them tips for success. And today I'm bringing you some rocking tips. So are you ready for those?
Yeah, I'm ready. And I know the chat are definitely ready. Betsy B, show us that School of Rock. Let's see those rocking tips.
Perfect. So let's go with the rocking tip number 1. And to the rhythm of AC/DC, you're not going to forget these tips because I used acronyms and things that I'm pretty sure you will be able to remember. So why AC/DC? I chose AC/DC because all creations deserve consideration. Sometimes our students have the idea that only the best products need to be or can be displayed. We need to let them know that we are not looking for perfection. We can help them grow confidence in themselves and a growth mindset. So what do I mean by this? Talking about the projects that my students have worked on in my 3D design class, they created their own collections of their projects. And a lot of the work that they do in my 3D design class is use real life models and bring them to a Tinkercad space and create them. So this is one of the examples. And they probably, you will see right now, oh, they are very pretty. But something that I tell my students, it doesn't matter how simple it is. It doesn't matter how bad it came out. You have the opportunity to display them and receive some feedback from your classmates. And that is precisely my second tip that I want to share with you guys. And you're probably going to remember this singer, Pink Floyd, and PF for peer feedback. Why is peer feedback so important? Providing feedback is a great practice. Feedback does not only come from the teacher, we're not the only ones that can tell them what areas of opportunity that there are in their projects. We can provide protocols and opportunities for them to give feedback to each other. There are different strategies that you can use. In this case, in the projects that I do, I provide them with forms that they can fill out. They can fill them out anonymously, or they can use strategies such as a tag strategy, in which they not only spot the areas of opportunity, but they give suggestions, they ask questions to each other about their products. So that is a great opportunity. We're gonna go with our next tip, to the rhythm of Credence. So many Credence fans are out there. And Credence, why? Because of the C, the 4 C's. Displaying their creations will help them develop critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. I would like to go back to my students' works here. And a piece that I ask for them in their collections when they're displaying their projects, their creations, is reflection. And this also allows them to think about what difficulties they faced when they were working on their project, and what was a skill or a set of skills that they acquired. So you can see that they're applying all of the 4 C's here: critical thinking, thinking about their learning, thinking about the process of creation. They're also applying collaboration. They're applying a lot of creativity. One of the works, or some of the works that are displayed here, as I told you before, are their Tinkercad designs, and designs that they start from zero. So this is fantastic. I'm really proud of what they created. Here is a co-spaces creation. You know that some of the things that they created on their own in Tinkercad, they brought them in here to create a virtual reality experience. This, for example, was a time machine that they created, and they made us travel in time with them to different civilizations, different times, and they gave us information about it. So as you see these samples, think of how the 4 C's are being applied. This was a collaborative project. In fact, several of them worked on this one in particular together. So that's another tip. And the last tip that I would like to share with you, to the rhythm of Kiss for K, to keep them motivated. How? Your students will be motivated when they realize how relevant their creations are and that they have a real audience. Something that this has helped me a lot with is being able to share in a very friendly way all of their creations with the community. This is taking some time to load here. This is another creation from another collection from my students. And as I was saying, it allows me to easily share it with the community, so that parents and other students can see what they are creating. This student in particular included the real life model that he was using as an inspiration for his 3D designs. And in the monthly newsletter we send out to parents, they can get to see what their children are creating. So with their Wakelet collection, just one click away to be able to share it with the community. One of my favorite creations from this student is his pet, Nacho. You're gonna see him in a moment. So I really love what they created, but it's very important that we give them room to develop that creativity. We give them space, and that we create a safe environment where they can feel comfortable creating, sharing, finding areas of opportunity to improve, which is very important, as I said before. So I'll be very happy to share these samples with you. I have left my Twitter handle here for you so that you can find me and follow me for more ideas, for more tips, and that you can continue rocking your classes with some of these ideas. Thank you very much for allowing me to share with you here today. If there are any questions that you have for me or anything you'd like me to share additionally, I'll be happy to.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Betsy B. They were definitely some rocking tips there. And you've got the whole chat rocking with you as well. So thank you so much for sharing them.
Thank you. It was
That's
amazing.
Awesome. People are commenting on your obviously students' project work, but also your music taste as well. I think it went down very well.
Yeah!
I love it. I think the bit I like as well, that the Pink Floyd, the peer feedback, I think is super, super important. Like you said in there, it's not only the teacher that can give the feedback, the students can actually learn from each other during these projects. So I think that's super important that you highlighted that as well.
Yeah, and if you allow me to add, it's important to create this culture of feedback, because sometimes what they think feedback is just telling, oh, you did a great job. It was nice. I like it. It looks pretty. So it takes time for them to adopt this culture of providing feedback to each other, being able to find all of the pretty things first, and then going back and telling them, hey, but I think you could improve this, and why, I was wondering why you did this. So it is a culture of feedback. So thank you so much for letting me share with you.
No, thank you so much, Betsy B. And yeah, we've shared your resources in the chat, and I'm sure people will definitely want to get in touch. Thank you for showing your students are so creative, by the way, showing all their 3D projects and all the amazing things they're doing. Thank you so much. The key thing as well that you said at the end there, allowing them to have a safe environment to be creative. I think that is super important, right?
Yes, that's right. They feel comfortable and they know when they are in a safe environment. And I think that us as teachers should be the ones entitled to create that safe environment. Modeling, when we provide them with feedback, when we create these types of spaces. And with Wakelet, I'm so happy that I have been able to do so in a very simple way.
That is awesome. Well, Betsy, thank you so much for sharing them. Like I say, jump into the chat after this and you'll see all the comments. And I'm sure people have a lot more questions for you as well. But thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And showing those rocking tips.
Keep rocking, teachers.
Keep rocking. Thank you so much. See you later. Oh, that's absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, Betsy B. This is quite a fast-paced, as you can see, it's a fun session. So we're going to go straight into the next speaker now. We're going to go ahead and spin that wheel, and we'll see which one of our next 5 educators are going to pop up. Let's have a look. And it's landing on, is it? Oh, there we go. It's Carrie Anne. Welcome, Carrie Anne, all the way from South Africa. Hello, how are you doing?
Everyone? Fine, and you? Very cold here. I did see a fellow South African here. So happy Youth Day to you. And I'm going to get onto it, yeah?
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
All right. Welcome to my session, everybody. I'm very excited to be sharing with you what I've been doing for over the past 2 years. I am a Microsoft teacher. I work at a Microsoft school, and I love all things Wakelet and Microsoft, Flipgrid, and Minecraft. Can you see my screen? Just making sure.
Yes, I can, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so technical difficulties have been resolved. All right, so rocking collabs with Wakelet. Why Wakelet? I started my journey with Wakelet, I think 3 years now. James actually was the one to interview me for my ambassadorship. And I must say, I've come a very long way. And what can't you app smash in Wakelet? So with the pandemic, we decided that we weren't going to stop our project-based learning, inquiry-based learning with our science fair. So we decided to host it virtually in Minecraft. Believe it or not, yes, we hosted it in Minecraft. And that got me thinking, how am I going to make this collaborative project work? And then zing, there it was. It was Wakelet. And I mean, as we know, Wakelet's a very versatile tool. We can app smash anything in there. And it embedded quite easily into our Minecraft virtual world. I've got a video for you at the end. So let's talk about rocking collabs and the whole process behind it. I'm all for effortless collaboration. I like the flipped classroom model. I like really getting involved with my students, and I'm all for fostering student autonomy and getting my students really practicing their 4 C's. A cohesive collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, knowledge construction, all of the good things. So how I went about it was, obviously I created a Wakelet collection that I shared with the students. But before I even got there, I knew that I had to first determine my skills and outcomes. And some of my go-to skills in this instance was knowledge construction, skilled communication, cohesive collaboration, self-regulating, obviously guiding them through the whole process. And then, there was always hiccups along the way, problem solving and rigor. That's all for making my students future ready. And these were the skills that guided me for step 1. And then step 2, was it iPads, Android tablets, laptops, desktop computers. For 2 years in a row, we have had iPads with their little keyboards. So with that being said, with the iPad, even though we were a Microsoft school, I ensured that we had the Wakelet app installed on the iPads, and off we went. At this point, we decided the students helped me decide what were we going to use inside our Wakelets for our virtual science fair, Minecraft. Needless to say, as you can see, these were the apps we decided to go with. Flipgrid, Minecraft, more on that later, OneDrive, PDFs, and images. So also why I loved the idea of Wakelet was that I got the students working with different apps, different disciplines, and really putting that problem solving and rigor to the test. Because how are we going to extend our learners if we don't give them the opportunity to put themselves out there and to try something different? So this is what we decided. With Minecraft working on an iPad, some of my students decided to research something.
Hey, Carrie Anne, sorry to stop you there, but I think you're sharing the collection tab, and we can't see the awesome work that you're showing.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Sorry to cut you off, but I'm sure everyone would love to see what you're sharing.
I can see it my side.
Yeah.
Has it stopped?
Yeah, we can just see the cover image rocking. Oh, there we go. It's gone down now.
Okay.
Yeah,
might
perfect.
Be my Wi-Fi. All right, so now we're on step 3. Okay, so why Minecraft? I didn't want to cut the students off, as they say, cut you off at the knees. So I had some students that actually also looked at solving the energy crisis, the energy issue here in South Africa with load shedding. So if it was something they couldn't replicate in real life, I had them build it in Minecraft and then use the screen record function in on the iPad to upload into Flipgrid. So that's why the Minecraft comes in there. All right, so step 4, time to debrief. And I basically put this all into our Microsoft team. And as you can see, I hope you can see my video. I will share this with you later, that my students had to go through the different sustainable development goals. And I put in this Wakelet collection, the timeline, how it was going to be assessed, how it was going to be marked, that type of thing, just to really guide them along in the process. And like I said, you don't know what they're capable of until you challenge them. And I also embedded our rubrics in there. There was 2 types of projects they could have done, being research and innovation. If you are interested in doing something like this, I am quite happy to share my rubrics with you as well. So like I said, I went through the different steps. I've now showed the Wakelet to them, and then it was time to rock it out. I was a band member. I was part of the group, and I became the facilitator, cue the chorus, and we got going. Collaboration and, collaboration at its best, but collaborate and listen. And why using Wakelet, the Wakelet classroom feature in itself was that the classroom feature, the students started their own collections, right? That fostered student autonomy. I loved using the classroom feature of Wakelet because then I could also check in at any time. Updates were done in real time. And then obviously it was so easy to embed it straight into the Minecraft world. If you have questions about the Minecraft world, I'll answer that on social media. James, I can't really see. Can you see that I've blown up our Minecraft world?
Yes, I can do. I can see that.
Right, so this is where Wakelet came to play in Minecraft, everybody. This was last year's presentation. And a bit of history about this Minecraft world was that my students and my colleague Chanel and I started building this world to scale in 2018, 2019. We've actually built the college now, but I hosted the Minecraft Science Fair inside Hall, as you can see. Already started planning for this year. And it was so easy to just put Wakelet in here by the means of getting the link to each of the presentations, and then I embedded it into I put World Builder status on, and each Wakelet collection, I embedded it into the NPC, as we'll see here now. NPC stands for non-player character. So it says, hi there, I conducted research into life below water. You click on the link, and it took you straight through to this lovely young girl's work that we both collaborated on. And what I really, really do enjoy about Wakelet is that I'm able to edit work as we go along, spell check, believe it or not, spell check's a thing, and helping them really learn how to write in the scientific formal language. And it just worked, and the kids loved it. I feel like I've raced through this, but in a nutshell, what I really want to stress to teachers, and I know I'm really preaching to the converted here, because we are all here to learn new things so that we can be better for our students. But this is really the driving force for why I share on social media, why I'm sharing with you today. And this is exactly the crux of the issue here, is that if we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow. You know, the children are really wired very differently compared to how when you and I were children. And Wakelet has really helped me foster student autonomy, student voice and choice. My students feel validated and valued. And the whole collaborative process behind our projects and what we've done in the science classroom has really taught them the skills and so much more. The fact that they can see themselves through my eyes and see how awesome they are, if I can do that every year or even just one day in a child's life, that's enough for me. But guys, you really need to, as you can see, there's a galaxy at the back of my presentation as a background. Really reach for that stratosphere. You know, encourage your students, get involved, be part of the team, extend them as much as you can, and really let them go for the stratosphere, realize their true potential, let them see themselves as you see them. So like I said, reach out to me if you want to know more. I'm always happy to share, always sharing my story. And yeah, I'll see you guys around. See you online. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Carrie Anne. That was amazing. That Minecraft world is awesome. It's out of this world. Everyone in the chat is absolutely loving it. It's very, very impressive. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you for having me, guys. And find me online if you want to know more.
Thank you very much. I'm sure everyone will have a lot of questions for you. Thank you so much, Carrie Anne, and we'll see you very soon. Okay, like I said, it's fast, it's quick. Let's go to the next speaker then. Els behind the scenes, if you can spin that wheel, and we'll get our next educator up to talk about their rocking student projects. There we go. Let's see who we've got today. And there we have it. Noor, welcome, Noor. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
I am very good. Loving the Wakelet Ambassador t-shirt.
Yeah, sure. It's like yours.
Awesome. Yes, it is very much like mine, yeah. Thank you so much for joining today to share how you are using Wakelet for your student projects. The floor is yours. Please do take it away and show how you've been using Wakelet.
First, I would like to thank you for the amazing community. You're making really an amazing community. This is very nice and interesting. You always leave us engaged and excited to stay in this community. Thank you so much for offering this opportunity for me to speak here. I'm Noor Akhdar from Lebanon. I'm Science and ICT Coordinator at Maqasid Aisha School. I am Wakelet ambassador as well. I'm so happy to be here with you and so glad to be presenting and speaking now. Actually, I started my journey with my students with Wakelet from last year. It was an amazing journey. I started myself first by becoming a member, Wakelet member, then community leader, and then ambassador. Then I worked with about 50 students to make them student ambassadors. They were so excited, so that they were just looking for any occasion and any event to create a Wakelet collection about it. For example, they were waiting for Mother's Day to create a collection about Mother's Day, or Math Day, or Science Day. They were looking for any occasion and any event to make collections. So they were so excited. Really, this experience helped them a lot. They felt so proud when they became student ambassadors. And later on, I started implementing Wakelet in the curriculum. As an ICT coordinator, I implemented it in the ICT sessions. So students were able to create e-portfolios, to create collections related to so many topics. And at the end, actually, it's not the end, but what we were doing lately is to start implementing project-based learning in the curriculums. And here, students use the basic platform, which is Wakelet, to present the information they are collecting, to prevent everything and discuss all the issues together. So I'm here now to show you some collections created by my students. Actually, I have internet connection problem. I tried to reconnect. I don't know if you will be able to see my collections.
Yeah, we hope so. If you try and share, we'll get up on screen as fast as we can. There we go.
I'm sharing. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I can see it. We're going to bring it up now.
Okay. So actually, the collections are still loading. So here you can see as how I am using Wakelet. So you can see I use it like Google Drive or OneDrive. I use it to create newsletters for the school. I use it to save everything I want. And here are some collections made by my students. I'm sorry for the very bad connection.
It looks like we've lost Noah there for a second. We'll just wait for her tabs to load. That's a problem with tech sometimes. Sometimes the internet connection isn't the best, but we'll grab Noah as soon as we can. It looks like her collections are loading in the background. I think if we can bring the screen up, that'd be great. And I'm sure Noah will be able to pop back and share some more. Meanwhile, in the chat, please give a round of applause. Please congratulate all the speakers here who are showing their amazing case studies, their amazing examples with us today. Some amazing student work. I'm sure you agree, and hopefully you can take this into your lessons and in your classroom. It looks like Nora's still trying to share her screen. We'll try and get her back in just a second. Okay, it looks like. Okay, what we'll do is we'll jump on to the next one and we'll bring Noah back when we can do. So if we can spin the wheel again, we'll jump on to our next guest. And like I say, we'll come back to Noah in a short while time. Okay, we've got our wheel spinning. Let's go. And it's Amy Trulio. Welcome, Amy.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am good. I'm excited. I'm very excited to see what you have to share. I won't lie, I've seen Amy's student projects before, and I will say I and the Wakelet team are very impressed, and we showcase this as much as we can. So, Amy, we'd love for you to showcase kind of the thought behind it and all the amazing student projects that you've been doing.
Yes. So our students are in Orlando, Florida. So we're in the United States, and it's nice and hot right now. So I'm going to share my screen. Well, depend on the window. Share that window. All right. So for our student projects, we have a lot of different students. We have students in middle school or elementary through middle school, so kindergarten through about 8th grade. And so we have a wide range, and we have students that are very well adapted in working with these things and some that are not quite yet. So we use Wakelet for 5 different reasons. Teachers can have digital responses. So like people have mentioned, we went into lockdown. We went into, you can't use paper, you can't share things. So being able to still have students respond and give feedback and collaborate. So the digital responses, students need to collaborate with each other, whether it's in the same classroom, which is very helpful, or within the same school, or even across countries and across borders. They need to be able to communicate their knowledge with others so their parents can see what they're doing, stakeholders of the community or other people, and document their journeys. So like if they're doing the Wakelet Ambassador Program or the any of their art or any of their music, and then for them to teach each other. So I do have, and they'll put it in the resources, a whole showcase of a whole bunch of different types of work. But some of the things that I found when I went through all of the different multimedia projects we've done Scratch or coding, Brain Pop, CoSpaces, graphs, and there's a whole bunch of these. So let's just go to the Scratch one. So you can see some of the projects. So students use Scratch, and they'll actually use it again next week in STEM camp. And then, of course, it's not going to work because I probably spelled it wrong. So we used it, and then nothing is going to want to work. No? Okay. All right. So we will go to this one maybe. Let's see. Oh, Wakelet for the win. So Wakelet works. Okay. So here we go. That's great. For our projects, there are a whole bunch of different ones. So they mentioned Minecraft. So we've had some students that have done tutorials on Minecraft and shown others how to do things, because we want to make sure they know that you're not just using technology for classwork, you're using it to communicate with the rest of the world. And so some of the ways that they've responded. So some of these are very basic, very, like she said, the very first person talked about how it doesn't always have to be perfect. It can be just textual responses. And so these are some of the ways the kids have actually written in different responses that they were doing, whether it was pictures or whether it was just words. So very simple responses. So if you're just getting started, you're like, I can't do all that, then that's perfectly fine. And then we have other students who are doing like their artwork and they want to build a portfolio with their artwork. So we have some of those. Let's see if we can actually find some. There we go. All right. So this student has a collection of artwork that she has been making, and she continues to add her artwork to the collection. And so she has all of them in a PDF, but then we went through and put each picture on here as well. And then, so we put the caption on it. So kind of like you're in the art museum. So she has her own digital art museum that she's created with her own artwork. And so that way she can keep going with her art, but then showcase it. And let's see what else we have. So this one is a collection of students who are in India as well as the United States. So the Little Martians are in India, and they are a STEM-based program, and they have challenged us to build buildings and other items. We did the claw. We challenged them for the claw. They did the buildings. So here are the buildings that we built, and then they built buildings there. And then we met on Zoom and compared our Wakelets, and then we could give each other feedback on it as well. So let's see here. We have, so the first one we talked about CoSpaces. So we have some CoSpaces as well here. So some of the ways we've done it is that you can either do a video, upload a video, or just a screen grab, a screen capture. So sometimes that's a lot simpler for some people than, you know, recording whole video and putting it somewhere and uploading it. So there's a wide range of student work. And some of the things that are great about Wakelet is the fact that I can send these to everybody at Wakelet and say, look at the projects. Can you give feedback? Can you do a little heart? Can you add some little emojis on it? So we have everything from class projects from the music class in middle school to the students' coding projects to when they did the math modeling contest for a global competition. We put their PDFs here. So some of them are just straight text. Some are PDFs, some are videos or, different things integrated into it. And so it's a wide range. So like I said, we have kids of all ages and then teachers of all abilities as well. So sometimes teachers are like, I just want something very simple. So we just added their certificate, the contest, and then their work on the math modeling project. Okay, so on this collection, there is a wide range of from math to art to music to younger kids to older kids to very simple responses to very complex, because there is a wide range, and Wakelet was able to handle all of that. And let's see. Okay. All right. So those are my collections. Sadly, I only have one screen because I'm still teaching STEM camp. And so I will be able to check the comments and go through the comments later. But I do have a wide range of public Wakelets available. So if somebody wanted to see them, or if you want me to go through and figure out how to, put them for their community.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Amy. Absolutely love that you showed so many different subjects and so many different types of content within those as well. My favorite was the art portfolio, though. Yes, it's a project, but over time that can become a really nice portfolio the students can look back on, right? And kind of see their progress throughout the years.
Exactly.
No, that's absolutely amazing. Amy, thank you so much for joining us today and showing how you're rocking your school with the student projects. Really appreciate it. And yeah, definitely check out the chat afterwards. You'll see the love from the community there.
Yes. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you.
Awesome. And now we'll jump to our next one. We've got about 20 minutes left of this great session. So let's go ahead and spin that wheel for the last person. I wonder who it will be. Let's see who's going to pop up. And we've got, let's have a look. There we go. It's the amazing Chris Bruno. Welcome, Chris.
Hello. Thank you.
No,
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for joining today. Please do take the stage. It's all yours. Please show us how you're using student projects with Wakelet.
Wonderful. Those are some hard acts to follow. I'm going to do my best. I do not have any rock and roll music, but you can kind of imagine it in your head as I go along. How's that?
That sounds great.
Awesome. All right. My name is Chris Bruno. I am a 4th grade teacher at Ridge Elementary School in Plainfield, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. I'm also an instructional technology coach. And here we go, window. So I've been able to share some of the things that I've been doing with my students, with some of the people in our district, but I've gotten so much great information from Wakelet in the past that I thought it would be great to share a little more globally as well. My students love using Wakelet. I love it. I actually kind of used it selfishly for a while, right when I started using it. I used it more like a Pinterest kind of thing to curate information, and it was for school, but it was more to get resources for me or resources for our team. And then it moved on to getting resources for the students. So kind of pushing information to them instead of using it collaboratively at first. I also teach 4th grade, and I know that's a semi-new development is for students to be able to, students younger than 13 to be able to use Wakelet. So it's not something that they could have done anyway, right when we started. So now that students under 18 are able to have their own Wakelet accounts, we've been using it a little differently in my classroom. All right, so I want to share just a few projects, and I did also, and you'll get all the resources, but I did create a Wakelet with the resources in it that I'll continue to add to. But one of the first kind of natural things that I thought of to use Wakelet for was for research. Students have especially starting 4th and 5th grade, they have a lot that they want to learn about and they have a lot that they wonder about, but it's sometimes difficult for them to kind of compile all that information and make sense of it and put it together so that they can make sense of it for someone else. So research really was one of the best, or the first things that I thought of. How can we be a little more collaborative in our Wakelets, and how can I help students get organized? So I did create a template for students, and first I'll show you what's on it, and then I'll let you know how students used it. So the students have usually a bigger research project at the end of the year that they need to complete. We do a couple small ones, but then they have one where they can wonder about something, come up with an essential question, and then they need to answer that question. So, of course, they need to look at different online resources. They need to find books, paper copies of books. They might want to find diagrams or pictures to show what they learned. They would make a presentation at the end. It could be a Flipgrid. It could be an essay, a typed essay. It could be something on Book Creator. So I tried to think of how can we kind of put all this together for students. So I created a template, and I gave it to them in Google Classroom, and I made them, or I asked them, I made it for them to copy. So I made sure it was copyable so they could copy it, and then they could switch out my information with their information. So I created a sample for them about bees. And I'm telling you, when Wakelet came out with the columns, the column option for the layout, I was so excited because it's such a great way to organize information. So I created columns, one for actual kind of the first thing you think of when I'm going to do research. I'm going online and I'm going to get some information. So they could put their information that they found online, they can put links to it. So then when they go back to take their notes on note cards, that they would always have that back. They would know where to go back to find it. I feel like in 4th grade, that was, and I'm sure many grades, that's a problem sometimes because they want to find so much information from so many places and then they forgot where they were. So this way they have all of their links. Books they used. So I did ask them to use books, one or two books. So they could take a picture of a book. They could link to a book on Epic for that as well. If they had illustrations or maps or anything that they might want to add to their final product, they could put it in here. And then one of my favorites for most projects like this or bigger ones, Flipgrid. So I do have a Flipgrid in the Discovery Library for research. And this they actually do at the beginning to get their thoughts going and what are they wondering about. So the link to the Flipgrid is direct right into the Wakelet. I love the integration with Flipgrid and Wakelet because it's a couple of my very favorite things. They have a link to their writing path. Students have a path that they follow, whether it's narrative or research or opinion. They don't just, we don't just let them go. So we have our lessons throughout the unit, but they have a path that they follow and they can put digital stickers on the path. And this is just a link back to that. So again, this was created outside of Wakelet, but everything they need is together. And they have a folder with paper versions of some of the things that they need, but this is kind of their landing point for research. So they have their slides, and then there's a link to a book creator link for our class that I gave them on here. And then their final product, there's the link to Google Docs for their final product and another Flipgrid link so that they could read and share their final product with their classmates. So that's just one. So research to me was natural. organization, help students get organized, help them put things in, rows or columns that make sense to them. Another writing project that we did with Wakelet was more collaborative. And this, again, was something kind of new that we could do now that students are able to have their accounts. And when we narrative writing, some students, I think, they're just so professional at it. They're so creative with it. It's just right up their alley. And then some struggle even to know where to start. I understand, because I am in that camp. But one of the things we did to kick it off was to practice writing with small prompts. So I would give them a small prompt on Wakelet. So for example, this was for a narrative, write a short story about 2 fifth grade students, and they have a problem. How are they going to solve the problem? So this, I made students collaborators on. So every student went in and they just used the note taking or the notes option and wrote a very short story. Then they were able to go back and they were able to give reactions to the stories that other students wrote. And this way they could see, because they all had different stories, but there were similar parts to them, and they were all about the same length, and they were similar enough to where I think sometimes they think like, oh my gosh, everyone else is writing this big book or doing, this big, amazing writing, and they're all amazing in their own way. And I think reading each other's writing helped them see that even though they're all unique in their ideas, they all know how to kind of follow the prompt or solve the problem or come up with some really creative solutions. So that's a really, really quick and simple way that I like to use Wakelet to collaborate with students. It's also fun to do it kind of at the beginning of the unit and then at the end of the unit, and it's great to see their growth in that. Okay. So special days. This is another way that I've collaborated with students, but then also shared with students. So this was kind of a combo board. And this happened to be for Earth Day this year. I know I personally love using Wakelet to, that's what it's for, to curate resources. And I like sharing them with students, but I also like the interactive piece to it. So for Earth Day, we talked about symmetry. So in math, we had just started symmetry, and there's so much overlap with math and nature that it kind of worked out perfectly that it was on Earth Day. So we talked a little bit about symmetry, and I gave students, I gave them a question. So is the butterfly symmetrical? Choose the heart if you think it is. What makes it symmetrical? I gave them a book from Epic. There was a video with or is it Mandala? I've heard it pronounced both ways. I hope I'm doing it right. Mandala? I found a really amazing video that I could link to on YouTube. I gave them examples. Then I gave them their job, their mission, their assignment. And it was to gather some nature items. I did tell them the day before we were doing this. So that part they kind of knew, but we also went outside and were able to collect leaves and stones and things. They had to think about symmetry, go outside, place something meaningful in the center, and start to create their own. And then their job was to take a picture and add it. So that's what they did. And they went outside and they created these beautiful pieces of art, which I thought was amazing. And we came back into the classroom, or they brought their laptops outside, snapped a pic, and then we came back in the classroom and talked about it. They talked about how they created them. So we were able to combine looking at resources, collaborating by creating something, putting it in the Wakelet, and then discussing it in person later in the day. So I think this is one of my most favorite ones that I've done with my class, using a lot of the amazing features of Wakelet. The last one I have on here, this was like a monster one, and we started creating this with our team, and it was just countdown to winter break. It has Newsella, Epic, how to draw things, but there was one day that had a different theme, and it's got a bazillion columns for the students to see, and they could do them at home. They could extend what they were learning at home, and that is in the Wakelet I created as well. So I have links for both the Wakelet with the templates, and then this Canva, which is also an amazing tool that is now integrated right with Wakelet.
Yeah. That is awesome. That was so wonderful, Chris. Thank you so much for that. And I love the shout out there for Canva as well. Yeah, Canva and Wakelet now partnered, now got that integration, which will take your collections to a new height. But no, Chris, thank you so much for that. That was absolutely incredible. I just loved at the start then when you said research seemed like the obvious place to start. And I totally agree. If anyone is doing research for any job role, any walk of life, you just go ahead and add your research into Wakelet. Super easy, right?
Yes.
Amazing. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Again, we'll drop your resources in the chat, and I'm sure people have a lot of questions.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye. And with the little time we have left, unfortunately, we're going to try and bring Noor back to showcase her collections. Hey, Noor, welcome back.
Hi. Hi again. Sorry for the inconvenience. It's our life in Lebanon.
Yeah, no,
we always totally face problems in internet connection. Yeah.
I know. But what we want to do is we've got 5 minutes, but we don't want to miss you out. We want you to showcase how you're using student projects. So please take it away.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so this is a collection created by my student. He's in grade 6. This was, as I told you, we were trying to implement project-based learning in the science curriculum. So he made a project about global warming. He made a Wakelet collection. He defined what global warming is. He wrote some causes of global warming, and he suggested some solutions. And as you can see here, we made a campaign in the school to help. It was because of the Earth Day. Also, it was due to the Earth Day. So we made a campaign to save the Earth. So here the student was trying to do his best to share it with the world, to discuss everything about global warming, and try to invest this in all students. He did this and he presented it next to grade 5 students and next to the teachers to engage them to do at least do one step. Each one can do one step from his own to save the Earth, which is our globe. So this was the first collection created by my student. Okay, this is another collection. This collection, I created it and I made it as a group work. It was a performance task. Usually we use performance task at the end of the units. So students here, after finishing geometry unit, they were allowed, or they were supposed to make a game or a gamified assessment. So they used Nearput, they used Blocket, they used many platforms, and they implemented their work in the collection, in this Wakelet collection. This was entitled Geometry Performance Task. This was the second one. Here students were implementing their work. They were so excited. They did these gamified assessments and lessons and put them in this collection. Yeah. This was a lesson created. It was an e-lesson created by my student. Also, she's in grade 6. She was presenting the lesson order of operations next to her colleagues and friends. So she started by defining the order of operation. She put some steps. She added songs and videos, explanatory videos. She added also a worksheet, I think, down for her friends to be solving. So this is how my students were really excited. They were doing their best to implement Wakelet in every in every event and every session. And exactly in the ICT sessions, they were doing all these ideas. Actually, these are the collections that opened, and I tried to send to you. I have many more collections, but I think I sent you another one, James. There is one about working children. Yeah, and this one, yes. This is another collection also. It's about the environment. Also, the student was trying to raise the voice for people to save the earth. Also, it was in the Earth Day, so the student was giving some advices, and they, as you can see, they put pictures, they put videos, they did their best to choose many ideas. They wrote text, they got idea information from Google, so they were making a research. Really, this was a very nice experience with them. It helped them to improve their research skills, their organization skills, and for sure their ICT skills. So and most of the skills that was really improved is their self-confidence. Really, they were much more confident, especially after they became student ambassadors. When they got the certificate of ambassadors, this was an amazing session. I just made a Zoom, it was online, so I made a Zoom session with them, and we celebrated that, and they were so happy for getting this this certificate. So this was everything. Thank you so much. I wish my work and my students' work is nice, and you consider it nice.
Yeah, that was amazing. No, thank you so much. I'm sorry you had such little time to share so much, but please do share it in the chat. I know we will, and I'm sure everyone can have a look through all your amazing student work. What I'd like to do is bring everyone up on screen and just say another thank you to all of our amazing speakers, Noor, Betsy B, Chris, Amy, and Carrie Anne. Thank you all so much for sharing your student projects. The community are absolutely loving it, and of course the conversation will continue on Twitter. So yeah, thank you all very much, and we'll see you all very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Amazing. What we'll do now is we'll jump on to our next session, which is with the amazing Matt Miller. His session is titled The Attention Switch. So that is, if you switch over to the other YouTube video, you'll be able to watch it there. And remember, anything that you find interesting from this session and from Matt's and any of the others, make sure you tweet #Wakelet Community Week, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you are, share it out, share it far and wide, and I'm sure people will absolutely love to see it. But again, thank you to our amazing speakers, and we'll see you for the rest of the sessions at Wakelet Community Week. Goodbye.